and missed last season with an injury. It was just a couple of seasons ago where she led the ACC in saves. And you see she's back up to her old tricks again, making sure the ball stays out of the net over there in Blacksburg.
It's always such an interesting stat when you talk about leading in saves, because the other thought is, well, what's the defense doing? Is your defense helping you out? But I think what's really good with Skinner and this Virginia Tech back line is that they haven't allowed a lot of goals as well. If you see someone with a lot of saves and a lot of goals against, not always a great stat. But for Skinner, it's been a really good start to the season. And that's important for the Hokies as they close out against a strong Northwestern offense. They're going to see similar high-powered offenses in conference play.
You see the split for Virginia Tech. Not an offensive juggernaut by any means. The Cats have scored 24 goals. Virginia Tech just 8, a third. But you look at the balls that have been in the back of the net. They've only conceded 2 all season long. And, Morgan, look, they usually play pretty compact, and they have a really good shape. It feels like early on, first 9 minutes or so, 10 minutes, this game's been wide open for both teams.
And I'm curious what it looks like when it settles in a little bit, because I do think if this game continues to stay fast-paced, I think that works out for Northwestern's benefit a little bit more, because they have a few more players who can be on the ball, who can be quick, and who can get shots off Skinner. Where Virginia Tech needs to build up a little bit more to really get their players involved. Remember, Taylor Price is still coming back from injury. She's healthy now, but she's still getting her minutes up. Natalie Mitchell will look to combine with her, but they're going to have a little bit more combination play, where Northwestern is winning the ball higher up the field, so they're not having to combine as much to create.
23 for the Cats, Ingrid Falls, 5'7" senior from Lake Forest, Illinois. How good was Northwestern a season ago? They make it all the way to the Sweet 16, one of the best seasons in program history for Michael Moynihan. They feel confident that they can make a run yet again this year. Top 15 in the country in offense. One of the best attacks in the Big Ten. And again, last year, losing to eventual national champion. Nothing to scoff at, especially on the road. Uh-oh. Ball given away. Northwestern not able to make the Hokies pay on it. Now transition opportunity. Here come the Hokies in maroon. Crossing the midfield line. Into space. Service into the box, headed away. On a clip, a foul. I believe that's going against Emma Pelkowski, the junior. For the Hokies, really important player for Virginia Tech this season, Emma Pelkowski, who I thought came on really well last year for Chugger Adair.
And she's a really important player who was part of a really important play for the Hokies. She won this ball deep in her defensive half. That's what Virginia Tech needs to do. They need to be able to draw defender central, and then that's the unlock, finding Sam de Guzman on the ball. I would love to see her move a little bit quicker. I think she allowed too much time for Northwestern to catch up to her. But if she can be quicker on the ball and even bring her run central, that then forces the defense of Northwestern to decide, are they going to step to her and she can dish? Or if they don't step, she's able to go directly to goal.
Fall's going to try and shake it off. She'll stay in the game. Number 10, Megan Norkett on the ball. Drops it back. 16 with a touch, Emma Phillips, the junior from Munster, Indiana. Cats so dangerous. They can beat you in transition. They have good hold-up play. They possess. They link passes. Bodie, one of the top players again in the Big Ten, first team All Big Ten a year ago, leads the team and the conference in assists, number 2 in the country in that mark, with 8 of them. And for Virginia Tech to have some success, Morgan, you talked about it early. Do you think the Hokies can link passes against this Wildcat team?
We saw them do it. They just tried again. Northwestern was able to respond. They did a nice job defensively stepping in, but the buildup that started with Pelkowski was fantastic in how they were able to link. I do think they have to be precise in playing to the right foot. So if a player has a defender on their left side, you got to play it to the right side, because those little things are going to allow Northwestern to step in and limit any sort of attack that's starting to build.
See how this shakes out. Emma Phillips drops it to the keeper, Riley Fitzpatrick in green. 5'10" sophomore from Ashburn, Virginia, back in her home state. It's a Northwestern team that won 4-1 on Thursday against Weber State. Undefeated through 8 games for the first time since 2017. Virginia Tech, there's a foul. 3 wins, just 1 loss on the year, but 3 draws. And I know Chugger's been a little bit frustrated, Morgan, with the way his team has closed out games at times, but he does feel like they are close to turning the corner as he looks to see some more consistency.
That's why a result today would be really important for the Hokies, is can they get on the board, and then can they not just hold on to that lead, but continue to play with that consistency for 90 minutes. Something that's interesting, too, is just the way that their shape is changing a little bit. We talk about Emma Pelkowski. She is a worker in the middle. She is the one who is popping off, finding that space, putting in the work defensively. She's covering ground. We're seeing her shift a little bit more into a defensive role, not as deep as 18, but she's dropped in, and she's not just hanging on this left side where we tend to see her more as a left winger for them. She's pinched more centrally to help on the defensive side and also build out.
There's a foul. We're going against 21, Avery Visage, senior from Ackworth, Georgia. Look at the fouls, physical game. Early on, both teams trying to grow into the match and command tempo and possession. Polkowski. Hokies finding space back towards the center. And up ahead into the final third. Price had it for a moment. Was looking for support. Hokies hold on. Pretty good ball. Edge of the 18 on the turn. Staying with it. 24, Natalie Mitchell. Now Bodie receives the ball just past the edge of the 18. Giveaway. And the Wildcats win it back. There's a whistle and a foul. Megan Norkett on your screen, number 10 in white. A little bloody already. Right on the back. Service towards the 6, punched away by Fitzpatrick. Hokies were trying to test the Cats keeper. Physical play. Edge of the 18, all clipped away. Great defending by Katarina Regazzoni. Still VT. Good ball, opportunity, save, Fitzpatrick. Best chance of the game, corner for the Hokies. But what a stop from the sophomore, Riley Fitzpatrick.
This is a massive save from Riley Fitzpatrick, because the way that this ball falls, Mitchell is in behind. It's a point-blank shot. Fitzpatrick quick to get there. That's big time, because that's really the first time she's been challenged from such a close range. But it's a good build-up from Virginia Tech. They kept that pressure getting forward, didn't allow Northwestern to play out.
Mitchell will do the honors, steaming into the box low and hard. Hokies increasing in confidence. There's a foul. Morgan, you can kind of see how big the Cats are. I mean, they've got decent size at every position.
And that's what's allowing them to win some aerial battles, but Virginia Tech has to be a little bit cleaner. This is another look at that save from Fitzpatrick. It was Mitchell, the ball was dished to her. She's in behind with that left foot. But Virginia Tech has to keep this pressure high. They've done a good job of picking the ball off when it's in the wide areas. And we knew that would be their unlock. They have to be cleaner, though, through the midfield. There's been a few times where Northwestern has been able to win the ball back, and it hasn't even been a full win. It's almost just been given to them. And the Hokies are finding some success. It was Allie George, actually, who started that whole build-up before the shot from Mitchell, because she won a battle on the right side as an outside back, and it was really well done for her to get into the attack.
There's a foul. How good was that hold-up play, too, by Taylor Price? Just a little flick through to send Mitchell in.
And when we talked to Chugger there, he said Mitchell's playing a little bit more confidently because she has Taylor Price back. Those two were such a big part of the offense last year for Virginia Tech when they were both freshmen, that now they're able to get back into that routine and find their rhythm once again. They work really well off one another.
Played almost 20 minutes in the first half. Feel like you got to catch your breath. It's been back and forth action. Both teams have had moments. Chugger Adair looking on. A team with 3 draws again on the season. They start with a pretty big bang in ACC play as they take on Carolina next Friday. On the road, I'll have you know that. In-swinging ball, Fitzpatrick, pretty sure of herself. Regazzoni receives deep in the 6-hole. Falls, oh, really good move. Creates space, Skyers recovers well. Norkett intercepted. Gadella Haas.
It's good work on the side from Fall. Skyers actually gets a touch, but it's not enough on the tackle. Good work rate getting back. When that ball was played in, we saw a little bit more of that hold-up play for Megan Norkett.
Hokies have carved out some space. Pretty good run forward. Mitchell clean with the ball. Last touch, though, by Natalie Mitchell will be a goal kick.
Chugger Adair was really quick to talk about the impact that Natalie Mitchell has on this Virginia Tech team. And the way he explained it, though, is I expected to see more from her on the dribble, and we've definitely seen her create there, but the Hokies are looking to slip her in behind, and that just speaks to her abilities to be able to be dangerous, whether the ball's at her foot or how she can pull her run wide and see those little opportunities to slip in behind. They want her to have that freedom more as the attacking mid. She's the top of their diamond in the midfield. And that's what also allows her to combine really well with a player like Taylor Price. They read space as well. So one will dash into it, the other's pulling out to open it up. And against a 3-back that Northwestern plays, she's matched up pretty much 1v1 versus Emma Phillips, a strong center back, but it forces Phillips to make decisions defensively.
I like that you asked that question earlier this week about the chemistry between those two. You see those duos all the time, all over the game, right? There's just an innate ability to understand each other, the way they peel off each other, where they're going to be, and that's just comes with practice and reps with each other, and those two are two of the best in the ACC in terms of understanding of each other's strengths.
And they're young, Aria. They're both in their sophomore year, so just think about how that will continue to build.
This attack's building. Shot. Fitzpatrick again to her left. Hokies are continuing to mount the pressure. They're finding some success, and they are carving out that space, Morgan.
Sam de Guzman does the hard work here. It's a really nice cut to get that ball. She puts it back on her right foot. I would love to see her strike this with a little bit more pace to it, or there was Price peeling out. You can see her doing the work. She's opening up. She has her hand out. She wants it fed. That's an easy little slip ball. I would love to see de Guzman either be more decisive when it comes to that shot or just play it through.
Hokies have enjoyed some possession over the last couple of minutes. You can see that confidence growing. That final pass, though, leaves a little bit to be desired. 16, Allie George, the junior from Louisville. Her first full season as a starter, has gotten some opportunities in the past. .21 minutes left in the first half. Still scoreless. A staunch Hokie defense against a prolific attack from Northwestern. Really a contrast of styles. So far, no goal. The Hokies have to feel like they're doing what they want. The possession and the tempo is probably favoring them at this point. They're able to turn over Northwestern a ton.
They've also limited the time that Bodie has had on the ball, as well as Del Carmen. And partially that's because Virginia Tech has had the ball, and they've been building forward, so Northwestern hasn't had their playmakers creating much. They've been forced to defend.
Are there any adjustments you want to see real quick, Morgan, before the latter part of this first half?
Virginia Tech is playing and executing how they needed to. The next part is just finishing. So it's that final ball, putting it away when they have those chances. But for Northwestern, I think they need to be aware of these wide spaces. They can't allow their shape to be stretched out and stay there, but they're getting beat in the wide areas. They haven't been able to account for those players.
What a ball. In shot, it's in the back of the net. Hokies strike first. Taylor Price, who else?
Mentioned Sam de Guzman would be the player for Virginia Tech to give them space. It's a really good first touch that starts deep from Mitchell. She plays it through to de Guzman. She's able to get around her defender with a quick slice there. A nice ball drifted right across the penalty mark to the foot of Price, who knocks that one home. Virginia Tech using this space, but not afraid to cut it in, and a really just calm finish from Taylor Price. She's in the right place. It's good to see her back on the score sheet again. She's healthy, building her confidence, first goal of the season.
And Morgan, you see Chuck Adair talking to Taylor Price. He told us earlier this week, I really want to see her find the net. She's working back. Last year, one of the best freshmen in the ACC. This year, she just had to see the ball go through, right? Just one time. And that might be the spark of something special in her sophomore season.
And that was needed for her. It really was. Before they enter conference play, you saw her on the sideline hugging Tori Powell. She's the other forward for Virginia Tech who's been out long-term with an injury. So they need Price to step up. That's the way that she does it. And it starts deep in the midfield with Mitchell. She combined with de Guzman, and then it's Price. I'm excited to see the chemistry between the three of those players continue. into conference play. So really good finish from those three, just how it was all built forward.
And as Sophie Maltese checks in for Taylor Price, Price had 8 goals last year. One of the best freshman marks in the ACC and in the country. Her first goal of the year. Give to Guzman the assist, by the way, her 3rd of the year. How will the Cats respond? Haven't trailed often this season, and they level! Beating the keeper, Skinner, on the road. The Cats find the equalizer.
Well, that response couldn't have been any better for Northwestern. It's Bodie, a quick 1-2. She gets on the ball. She draws 4 defenders, and then it's Norkett who's special here. Gets the touch around Pelkowski, who can't go much further because she'll pull her down, and that's a beautiful finish from Norkett. The freshman is confident. She is striking the ball in a clean manner. There is nothing that Skinner can do when it comes to that shot.
You see Norkett, 4th goal of the year. We asked the question early. No Alessino. Who steps up? Norkett answered the call. And just like that, Vatek, the Hokies only enjoyed the lead for a matter of moments. See how VT responds. We asked the question almost immediately, what will the Cats do after they trailed? They answered the belt. There's Taylor Bryan. Oh, pretty move. Carves out her space. Touch forward. Flag stayed down. My awesome talent stats man, Dan Ferran, tells me 52 seconds apart for the goals. And Norkett had turned the corner. Is this going to be a booking? Indeed it is. Avery Visage gets the yellow.
Visage gets beat on this tackle. Norkett's in behind. And honestly, I don't hate that foul because I do think at that point you then have Norkett running straight at your back line for Virginia Tech when your center back is way out of play. So I don't think that's a bad foul to give up. But Aria, going back to that goal from Northwestern and the quick response, a really good team is able to do that. They are not phased. This Northwestern team is so calm on the ball. You see the way they ping it around, the way that they built up there. Going down 1 goal and for them to be able to respond that way speaks volumes about where this team is at, within their belief of themselves, their confidence. And they're just going to continue. So Virginia Tech has to be able to regroup because Northwestern can continue to build off that goal.
It really was impressive. I mean, they wasted no time. Didn't rest on their laurels either. Nice move, Bodie. She's through. It's as good as it gets. Individual brilliance from one of the best players in the Big Ten. Cats strike ever so quickly, and they take the lead in Blacksburg.
We knew she was gifted with her dribbling and technical ability, but this just shows Meg Bodie. Splits the 2 holding center midfields for Virginia Tech. Just calm, gets through those players, cuts it one more time to get around a center back. And it's the little hesitation. That's what gets Skinner to go down, and she just tosses that one home. That's an easy finish from Bodie. That is not simple whatsoever. She just slows the game down. She is so talented, Aria.
You see the smile on her face. It's like she's done that on the training ground so many times. How about how calm she was? Skinner even chose almost 50-50, just dove to his side, and it didn't faze Bodie at all.
I mean, I would be smiling like that if I was a player in the game just slowed down around me. Split 2 holding mids, then got around a center back, then forced the goalkeeper to go down with a quick pause. I would have a big old smile on my face too.
Wow, this game has shifted quickly, hadn't it? Man.
It's almost like the goal against from the Wildcats woke them up a little bit. And I think it deflated Virginia Tech a bit because they had that energy and they really feed off that. When they have the momentum, it's hard to stop the Hokies. And Northwestern, just with their response, put their stamp on the game that before half, Virginia Tech has to connect passes. That's where it starts. That's how they will build their confidence once again. They've changed up their shape, so they now have Warrenen as well as Pelkowski as the two holding mids. They took out Gogol, so those two players have to keep things solid for Virginia Tech and really stabilize their midfield.
3 goals in a span of 153 this game. Took 20-plus minutes, but we have gotten our fireworks. As we approach 16 minutes left in the first half. Do want to remind you that this game is the start of our women's soccer triple header. Next up, you've got a rivalry, Florida visiting 5th-ranked Florida State, and then Wyoming and Louisville at 5:30. Both games available on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Later on ESPNU, you've got Carolina at Bama. And so you got 4 games of some of the best soccer in the country. 3 of them right here on ACC Network. According to set. The Hokies continuing to try and get forward. Can they get the equalizer? They're now being asked questions. Checking on their resilience. Poking at their fortitude. Set piece opportunity. Knocked ahead. Off the body of a player in white. And now Bodie. Ever so skilled, but dispossessed. What can VT make of it? In transition, pretty good ball forward. Bryan turning her defender onto the left. Bryan deflected shot over the net. Well done by the Hokies. Well done by that Cats back line. It's a corner.
It's a good team attack from the Hokies. Natalie Mitchell won that ball back from Bodie. Fantastic individual work from Taylor Bryan to be able to turn, let that ball run across her body and gets it on the left. But it's good defending from Danica Austin, who's able to track and go in for the tackle.
Big opportunity for the Hokies. Oh, skimming off maybe the top of the crossbar, near post. Pretty good ball.
For Northwestern, number 18, Holland.
Maria, that's not an easy touch to get on the ball. It actually looked like it was Allie George who was the one who came to the near post, because the way that the ball is tracking, you're past the goal at that point, but to get a little flick, really nice look on frame. The Northwestern, you have to look, they're bringing in Holland Carey. She's a player who's missed a couple games with injury. So adding her into the mix in midfield, it's good to see her getting minutes. But for the Hokies, you now have a former starter who's back in to really solidify their midfield as well.
Going to play the give and go. Punched forward. Norkett, central, left-footed ball into space. That's really good. Turning the corner and crossing it towards the 6. Skinner read it well. Direct play. Just joining us, we have 3 goals in really just under 2 minutes. Natalie Mitchell got it started with a nice pass to Taylor Price for the goal for the Hokies. And the Cats have scored twice in a blink of an eye. Norkett and Bodie back to back to make it 2-1. Two Cats goals, 61 seconds apart. VT out shooting Northwestern 7-4, 4-3 in shots on goal. So the Hokies have played pretty well. They've looked confident. Really just felt like in the blink of an eye, they got ambushed. Good work there in the center by Alan Gary. Into space, jostling, foul called on the Cats. Ella Haas can't believe it.
She's really unhappy with that one. I'd be interested to see it again because Allie George was calling for the foul well before the whistle even blew.
Towards the back post, Fitzpatrick. Well, she was losing her footing. I don't think she quite knew where she was on her line. In the end, it goes out harmlessly.
I really like this work from Maltese. This was the end of it, the way that she peeled her run and then looked to get that ball across. Not much of a bend to it, so Mitchell not able to get on the end. But Maltese found herself central and then was able to have a quick 1-2. She opened her body up to get in a really nice position to be able to get the cross off because she was coming under pressure from Austin. If there's one small bit of critique, it's just bend that ball across so that it's coming away from net, and that's what would allow Mitchell to get time to get on the end of it versus just a straight ball sent in. That's really trailing over the end line.
See Haas trying to fix her cleat, tie it back up for Sophie Maltese. Pretty cool earlier this season, a Virginia Tech win over James Madison. She had an assist against the school where her father used to play, and her sister Abby currently plays.
It was probably a fun family conversation after the game, at least for Sophie and the Maltese family, maybe not the others.
Chugger Adair, Morgan Calder, one of the spark plugs off the bench. Her and Taylor Bryan have been needed at times to really bring that energy coming off the bench as subs. Looking for the over-the-top ball. Bodie. Back to the defender, hold-up play. Looking for a teammate to link and does. Oh, and that pass even better. Cats through again. Shot in your post. Skinner's got it. Now I know warning.
And the last opportunity for Northwestern, the ball in behind from Haas. This is one of those in between. It's not a full cross because it's too close to Skinner. It's a simple save. There's not enough on it to really pressure her and have it be a shot. Haas a bit indecisive.
Shot of Danica Austin, 29 in white. Skyers will take. Under 8 to play in the first half. Towards the edge of the 18. And the Wildcats able to control. Morgan, you talked about your keys to the game early on. How do you feel like this game has played out in the way that you wanted it to see and you thought that these teams needed to be successful?
Well, starting with Northwestern, they needed to be clean on the ball and take care of it when they were looking to thread passes. I think there was a bit of time when we saw Virginia Tech have a lot of that momentum where Northwestern just wasn't on the ball, so they weren't able to get into that, but maximizing their hold-up play. Megan Norkett has been fantastic for them, dropping a little bit into the midfield, and it's not just holding up and playing the ball negative. She's able to turn and then find the other side, but it starts with her hold-up play, so that's been really good for Northwestern.
Bodie's so comfortable on the ball. Like you said, the game really slows down for her. It almost plays like everything's moving in slow motion around her. Bryan on the touch. Linking with the freshman, Arango. Ball over the top, oh, too heavy. Throw in Cats. New Bodie was really good. First team All Big Ten a year ago. Second in the country this season in assists. Can also score too. We saw that earlier.
And Aria, that's what makes Meg Bodie so good is she can do not even a little bit of everything. She can do a lot of everything. She can score. She can assist. Remember, she's second in the country with 8 assists coming into this game. It's her hold-up play, her ability on the ball, and you also have to remember she's a taller player. She's a lankier player. She can close down space, and it's a stat that you're not going to see on her line here, but she puts in work defensively. So she covers a lot of ground in that midfield and does a lot of work, not just on the attacking end, where that shows up way more because she has the productivity, but she's such a big part of how they play defensively as well in the link-up play. She is somebody I'm excited to see continue to play after school and just at the next level because players where, how I mentioned, the game slows down, they're just smart soccer players, and she has the skill in so many different ways to back it up.
Under 5 to play. This touch forward again. The Cats springing in attack. Deflected by Skyers. Is their transition opportunity for VT. It'll go out for a throw. And so with under 5, Morgan, what do you think of the Hokies so far? How have they panned out with what your expectation was for them with the keys?
Well, the number one key was consistency for 90 minutes, and that's their opportunity. They were really good once they found their way into the game, but that goal against and how quickly it came, that just speaks to the opportunity for consistency and how they have to stay locked in. They can't get too high when things are going well. They have to be consistent across the whole game. I have been impressed with how they've regrouped since the second goal because that's when things kind of could have gotten out of control. So that's been a really good response. And then the other key, unlocking the attack through the width, that's where they found their offensive success. So that one, you can give a check mark, but can it continue for the 90 minutes? That's when you kind of bring those keys together. And that's the question. If I'm Chugger Adair, I'm bringing that back to my team and reminding them at halftime, hey, we were really good when we unlocked and found a Guzman wide. Can we also do it on the left to switch it up? Mitchell is continuing to be dangerous as well when she pops into different channels. So can they get back to that is the question. If so, they'll have success in the second half.
Friday's ACC PM with Mark Packer and Taylor Tannenbaum will come to you from Clemson as the prep for Florida Atlantic and Clemson at 4 Eastern. Clemson Tigers running away from Charleston Southern yesterday. Dabo Swinney's team responding from the loss to Duke. It has started to rain in Blacksburg. You can see it on your screen. See how that affects the rest of the game. There's a corner coming for the Wildcats. But Morgan, wet surface can really impact a lot of the way you want to play.
Well, that's what I'm interested to see, especially for Northwestern, knowing their quick combinations and how they like to hold the ball. They're really clean. I'm curious if any of this weather changes things. When we know Virginia Tech will look to play a little bit more direct, they'll have to be careful about the weight of the ball, but it also might help them if it's skipping and moving a little bit quicker.
Corner, oh, it's loose. Wet surface could be playing an effect here, as Skinner couldn't hang on to it. It stays with the Cats. Bodie, another really good ball again. This one deflected out. And now Skyers. I think they're tired of seeing rain in Blacksburg. 5.5 hours of delay yesterday with Purdue at Lane Stadium. Pretty good ball. Looking for an equalizer right before the half. Whistles wide. Was there a touch by Fitzpatrick? Doesn't look like it. Goal kick.
This is a really good opportunity for the Hokies. It actually falls to the foot of Arango. It's Valenti that won it at first, to be able to spring her forward. Not a bad look on frame from the young player coming in.
Final few moments ticking off. Morgan, initial thoughts on this first stanza?
It's a really good half of soccer. It was a fun one. I think the way that Virginia Tech was able to build into the game and capitalize on what they wanted to do, where they needed to find success, that's a great confidence builder. They have to get back to that. They know they were able to do it. How does Mitchell look in the second half is my question. She did a lot of work in the first half. And also, can Samna Guzman continue to make the impact that she made in the first? And on the other side for Northwestern, they ping that ball around so cleanly. It's a really pretty style of play. Are they able to regroup in the midfield and force Virginia Tech to come out of their shape a little bit, make them uncomfortable? Because if so, I think Northwestern has a couple more goals in them when we just see how their offense is producing right now.
It's a Virginia Tech team that had only given up 2 goals all season and has given up 2 in the first half to this prolific attack for Northwestern. That'll do it for the first half. Goal from Taylor Price got things started, and then in the...
And continue building from that. I don't want to see any slow starts, because to me that means Northwestern has gotten in their head, and the way that they played, they're struggling to adapt to it. But then for Northwestern, I want to see the cleanliness on the ball. A player we really haven't spoken about much, Katarina Regazzoni, has been so strong as a holding mid for them. The way that she's really shielded their back line, I think Virginia Tech has to put a little bit more pressure on her, because she's pulling the strings in the midfield as they look to get forward. But when they come back out in the second half, she's somebody who they're going to continue to look for to be good on the ball as they build their attack.
If you're Virginia Tech, do you almost have to pay Bodie extra attention, or do you continue the same game plan? Because she's been so influential, as you documented in the first half, deep in the 6-hole, getting forward as well. Bodie's been probably the best player on the field for both teams.
To answer your question, I don't think you give her extra attention, because you always have to give her the respect of that attention. I don't think you shift anything and see her differently. I think for Virginia Tech, what allows them to see where she is but not get her on the ball is when they have the ball at their feet. So they need to hold on to it, they need to keep it, and limit her ability on the ball, not just by taking her out of the game and marking her, but by taking her out of the game by them holding on to possession.
Yeah, we'll monitor how these teams approach this second half. The rain has continued in Blacksburg over the last couple of days. That could play an effect on the final 45.
Well, and
Gosh, the
Aria,
Hokies
also to
felt
answer,
really good. Yeah, go
to
ahead.
answer
sorry,
your
Mark.
question, Emma Pelkowski is marking Bodie pretty tightly, so I think that answers your question.
You had to imagine, right? You just can't let her have that space on the ball to feel so good about herself. But maybe that Virginia Tech changes formations. Do they change the way that they press, counter press, or do you just kind of stick with? They did have a lot of success themselves in the first half. It wasn't all bad.
They haven't changed up formation, but they've changed personnel slightly. So they have Pelkowski more so sitting at that holding mid. They brought in Ina Warren in later in the first half to sit a little bit deeper with her. That change continued into the second half. So it's a slight shift in formation, but more so it's personnel.
Pelkowski's been influential for a couple of seasons now in Blacksburg, and so we'll see how her defensive assignments as well as her getting forward can affect this game moving forward.
And Aria, when it comes to Pelkowski, what the big part for her is that she can't be stuck doing just the defensive work all the time. They have to be able to spring her forward and allow her to bring that work on the attacking end. So that's what it comes down to, is taking care of the ball so that she can put in her work rate defensively. She's a huge part of where that starts in the midfield for the Hokies, but when they get forward, she also likes to join into the attack, drift a bit out wide right. So when that happens, can they find her and take advantage of that?
Offensively, Virginia Tech had 7 shots in the first half in the first 31 minutes. Final 14 minutes, just 1 shot. Here they are with the ball. Trying to build now, out of the back. Connecting passes. They'll dump it all the way back to Skinner. The Virginia Tech team that had given up just 2 goals all year. They gave up 2 goals in the first 45. Skyers looking for a runner. That pass didn't really test Fitzpatrick.
I would love to see Skyers take a touch before bringing that ball in with her left foot. I think it would allow her to be able to pick somebody out, to be a bit more clinical, but also it allows time for the rest of the runners to get on the end of it. By going first time, she didn't have any runners that were waiting or timing their runs to get there on the end of that cross. She was just a bit early.
VT able to generate a turnover. Pushing up, close down. Good ball ahead. Running on. Haas onto her left foot. Good defending too by the Hokies. Shading Haas further and further away from the angle, and that allows Skinner with an easy save.
All right, you're doing my job. It's exactly what it was. Allie George working back, taking that inside angle to force Haas to take a shot where she doesn't have the best ability to be directly on frame. And it also makes that save easier for Skinner because she's at the near post and fully covered.
If it's like T-ball, Morgan, you put the ball on the tee for the analysts to have an easy swing at it.
Well, you teed yourself up there. It was all you.
Trust me, they're not going to pay me to do your job ever. You're too good at it. 2-1, Northwestern over Virginia Tech. Start of the second half. The Hokies started off with a bang, took the lead. We're feeling really good about themselves for really under 60 seconds as we take another look at that ball through to Haas.
And the ball had nice bend on it, too, so it really fell straight to the foot of Haas. But George putting in work, gets her body there as well, which forces Haas to go down to the ground, so she can't even strike the ball as cleanly as she'd like.
Nice ball. Space carved out, a pocket, and a corner won by Virginia Tech. You have to feel like these set pieces, especially in wet conditions, could be a difference maker for the Hokies.
Absolutely, but something else you have to remember is with the personnel change, by bringing in Warren in, she's a smaller player. They lose the height of Gogol and the aerial ability of Gogol. So a center back like Avery Visage becomes even more important, as well as your Taylor Price, your Natalie Mitchell, Allie George, because these are now your taller players. And remember, Northwestern, they have size on them, and they have really strong aerial players who can get up for the ball. So that's something that you just change with the personnel decisions that Virginia Tech has.
Pretty good ball header! Equalizer, we're tied. Was that Taylor Price again? She's got 2. And that is just what the doctor ordered for the Hokies here at home.
What a response from Taylor Price. She goes up confidently. She runs through this ball. It's played across the 6. You see the reaction from her. Completely beats her defender in Haas, getting to that ball first. She was hungry. She wanted that one, ran straight through it. That's a beautiful finish from Taylor Price. This is the game she needed. Coming back, she's healthy, she's back.
Could this be the turning point in her sophomore season? Virginia Tech's needed her. Have started slowly on the score sheet, just 8 goals coming in. But a lot of that had to do with not having Price fully fit and able to be dangerous into the attack. We talk about non-conference play, Morgan, being an opportunity, yes, to get games, to win games, but to also have players kind of round out into form before the most important part of the year, and when you play in the best conference in America.
And in a perfect world, all those things are happening. You're getting your players back in playing form, you're getting them on the score sheet, you're building that chemistry because you've lost your seniors, now you have your freshmen stepping in, and you have some players coming back from injury who may have been lingering from last year, maybe it happened in the offseason. What's so impressive about that response from Virginia Tech and that goal from Taylor Price is not just how confident she was stepping forward, there were so many Northwestern players in a very organized manner in the box. There was not a lot of space. What that came down to is she just beat her defender. She saw that ball coming in. It was a fantastic ball sent in first off. Completely attacked it, and she knew that was going to be hers. That's the confidence she needs going into conference play.
Skinner watched that ball roll in to her box, controls. Talk about how injuries can make an impact on a season. Tori Powell not available this year so far for Virginia Tech. She was one of their leading scorers, most dynamic players a year ago.
And Powell battling a longer injury. The Hokies definitely hopeful that they'll have her back, but you don't just lose her goal scoring ability, you lose her big game playing experience. She's a veteran on this Hokies team and has been a really big part of the program for the last few years. So it's a big loss without her so far this season, but that's why it's even more impressive to have your young players stepping up and picking it right back up.
No doubt. You know, when Virginia Tech was cooking last year and they make the NCAA tournament, a lot of that had to do with Powell, Price, and of course, Mitchell. This shot finds the net. Once again, Northwestern offended that someone would tie them, that someone might take the lead. And on the road yet again, the Cats have had the answer.
That's a frustrating goal for the Hokies because it was a mistake of their own. It's Visage who plays this ball back, and it just falls right to the foot of Norkett, who then holds her off and is able to play Haas in behind. And Haas is able to just close that space. Haugen gets close enough, not there. Skinner closes the angle, but it's a really pretty slotted finish to that far post. Virginia Tech has to be tighter.
Ella Haas, her 6th goal of the season, 10th goal of her career. Back-to-back seasons where she has really impressed. 15 points a year ago, 4 goals, 7 assists. Now 6 goals and 2 assists. We asked that question again. I mean, you lose a player as talented as Alessino, right? I mean, who's going to step up? And the answer is for Northwestern. They have a lot of weapons and a lot of options.
And Aria, when we called the Pittsburgh game a couple weeks ago, I was mentioning goals by committee, and that's not always a great thing when a team says that because you may not have one prolific scorer. But right now, we're seeing a couple teams across the country that their offense is booming because it is goals by committee, and Northwestern is one of those as well. You just see the offensive production. And yes, there's different levels of competition that teams are playing in non-conference, but for a team to be able to consistently put up a lot of goals against their opponents, or for players to be able to consistently score game after game, think about how that contributes to their team's ability to adapt, maybe without that one player who's injured. And then when they come back in, who does defenders then have to choose who they're going to mark? You can't take them all out. You can't play man on man across the whole field. It makes things so much more difficult for defenders.
No doubt. Warren gets the foul. The assist on the goal by Haas, by the way, given to Norkett. That's her second on the year.
And it also was that hold-up play from Norkett. She was able to win that ball in the middle and then distribute. Continues to be a really good part of her game.
How can you not be impressed with this Northwestern side, right? They have build-up play. They can link passes. They can kill you in transition. So many different methods of torture. And I think, you know, that's not a bad ball, by the way. Do we have another moment here? Great save, though, by Fitzpatrick. Wow, Virginia Tech almost had a beautiful ball and a beautiful combo.
Really good weight on the ball that de Guzman played in here behind to Anna Weir. It's a nice run. She beats her defender. She's so close to getting that one touch just to get around Fitzpatrick. Doesn't touch it clean enough. But the way that Sam de Guzman just lofts that ball in and it trickles right in the correct weight. I'm curious if it wasn't raining, if that would really fall right to the foot of Weir.
De Guzman's been pretty impressive now.
I've watched a couple Virginia Tech games, and I watched them play in person, and they played UNC Charlotte, and I was actually chatting with Chugger after the game, and I said, de Guzman stands out in the way that she plays, and she's a buzzer. She's not the biggest player, but she's not afraid to have the ball at her foot, and anytime I see a freshman like that, I am so excited to ask a coach about them and just what their energy is like, what their personality is like, because it's not easy to be that type of player. I think some people just innately have it. And she is somebody that is not afraid of the college game, not afraid to be challenged with the ball at her foot. And that's what builds confidence and really helps young players just step up to the level of play and rise above it.
Feels like that's always the first step for a freshman, right? As this shot low, wet surface again. Fitzpatrick punches it away for a corner. All right, Virginia Tech capitalize on their last corner. Can they do it again here?
When you talk about de Guzman, her ability on the ball, and she's not afraid to take on players. Doesn't have a runner there for the rebound, but it's good work individually from her. And here with this corner, Northwestern has to know where Taylor Price is. I expect her to be marked up much tighter. You can see Norkett near her.
Corner. See what they do here, Morgan. Not a bad ball again. Pretty similar to the last one that resulted in a goal. Under 32 to play in the game. 3-2, Cats. Good ball. Time and space. Service headed away, out of the box. Foul called. Bodie was jostling for space.
Balkowski looking to get a little push up on top of Bodie, but to be fair, I think that's the only way she might even be close to winning that aerial battle against Bodie, just the height difference.
19 total fouls in the game. You saw Virginia Tech not afraid to get physical. It's been a staple, though, of Chugger's teams. Always tough, always physical, not afraid to scrap if it comes down to that type of soccer. You're not going to push a Hokie off the ball, not easily.
Aria, that was one of the first mistakes that we've really seen from Northwestern, them just knocking the ball out for a Virginia Tech throw. And those are moments that the Hokies have to be able to capitalize on when they're gifted the ball back from the Wildcats.
No doubt. We were talking this week with him about what he wanted to get out of this game. Obviously a win. That's everyone's goal. But improvement in front of the net, being a little bit more clinical, having a little more bravery into the attack. I think you've seen that from the Hokies so far. A lot of time left. Look at this schedule, right, and what's coming. At Carolina to start it off, at Boston College, and at Syracuse. 3 road matches in a row to kick off ACC play.
That's also why a game at home, like today, even to close out non-conference becomes that much more important for Virginia Tech because they won't have another one of those opportunities for a bit. And then in conference play, home games, you have to take advantage of those because it's so difficult with the opponents you're facing and to be on the road. So it's another good challenge. Can they put together a full 90? There's been moments where we haven't seen Virginia Tech clean, hence the 3 goals against from Northwestern, but can they get it back together and regroup? They've obviously been able to get on the score sheet. Something I do want to see different as the second half progresses, the rain is continuing to come down. They are looking for crosses. Can Virginia Tech be a little bit smarter with where they are playing the ball? First, they have to be able to beat that first defender when they're playing the ball in, but can it be a low line drive that's whipped across the field? Because touches won't be as clean. So can they put the Northwestern defense under pressure versus just lofting them in and being a bit hopeful? I think that's an area on their attack that if they can be more clinical, they'll have success.
Are there some adjustments that they can make over these final 27 and change to not just get back into this one, but maybe pull off the upset?
It's being smarter in the decision-making and taking care of the ball. The last goal from Northwestern was gifted to them. It was a poor pass from a center back that Northwestern just jumped on and was able to take advantage of their chances. So Virginia Tech won. If they're on the attacking end, they need to take advantage of theirs, but also they have to be cleaner, especially in their back third, because that's an area that they are so easily exposed. There's not as many players that can make up for it when you're that close to your own goal. It's simple. Your center backs have to be able to connect the ball. Your outside backs have to be able to connect the ball, because if they make a mistake, it's just magnified.
Doucette deflected out for a corner.
Good work from Nicole Doucette getting forward. She's a player for Northwestern who's battled through some injuries, but she's scrappy. She brings that battling energy to this team, the experienced senior. It's good seeing her get forward and creating something for Northwestern.
Second corner. Bodie. Pretty good one. Skinner's got it.
Aria, we've seen the energy dip a little bit from both sides in the second half. And for Northwestern, it works a bit in their favor because they like to have possession. They like to ping the ball. They have the ability to slow the game down, but then pick the pace back up when they're in control of the ball. But for Virginia Tech, when they win it, can they be smart in their possession? Can they work their way up the field and then pick those moments when they inject the energy? I wouldn't be surprised if we see Maltese and Brian sub in soon for the Hokies, because they are the players coming off the bench that provide the spark. And then looking to bring back, we see them at midfield. Then Virginia Tech will look to bring back their starters, whether it's Price, whether it's Weir, whether it's Mitchell. But I do expect to see the level raised when these substitutes come in for the Hokies.
You almost wonder if a player like Price needs to have a heroic performance. Can she get a hat trick to kind of will her team to a result?
Well, my question, too, is she's one person. If she can do all that, that's amazing, and that's so great, but who else is going to step up and help her? And if you're a team, you see your player doing all of that, you want to be the one to help. So, yeah, it would be great, and I'm sure she has the mentality. She's definitely looking for the third. You want her to look for the third. But also as a coach, I'm looking for the rest of my team, too, to step up, help her out.
See on the year, Natalie Mitchell. The 3 goals in the Hokies last year when they were so good. Mitchell, Powell, and Price, all 3 of them were so instrumental. Tori not available at the moment. Price getting healthy. That's an opportunity right there. Dangerous spot for a set piece.
There were options in this buildup as well. De Guzman had a player wide, but she looks to go across. She's brought down. This is a very dangerous area to give up a set piece if you're Northwestern. You can definitely see the Hokies talking about something from the training ground, looking to get this on frame.
It'll be Mitchell, the sophomore from Temecula, California. Actually, well, stop and play. Rain continues to fall. Mitchell, curler, right into the center of the net. Fitzpatrick hardly had to move.
The movement from the 2 players before, they were trying to get the wall to move, Fitzpatrick to move a little bit. Northwestern not really fazed by that. It's a ball that Mitchell's going to want back. Not the cleanest strike with the most pace. It's a good idea, though.
Foul in favor of the Hokies. 5th save, by the way, for Fitzpatrick. Kept thinking back on that free kick. Of all the free kick goals Leo Messi's been hitting over the last month in the MLS for Argentina. Under 22 left to go. Weir was looking for a runner towards the penalty spot.
And she wasn't able to beat her first defender, but that's one of the first times in a bit that we've seen Virginia Tech have the ball wide and then cut it back in central and keep it at their foot versus just playing it in on a pass, but really creating off the dribble.
Northwestern, number 2.
There's Haugen.
Mitchell.
And a shot of Norkett. Maltese, Bryant, both in. And they provide that energy. Seemed to work in the first half. And Kendall D'Amelio as well. Mike Moynihan going to Bridget Mitchell. Maybe a shift of a final 20 minutes. Bodie, what a ball. Edge of the 18, first touch. Too heavy, let Haas down. Saturday afternoon at a special time of 2 Eastern, the ACC Huddle crew will kick off the afternoon with a 90-minute pregame show leading into Northwestern and Duke. Then they're back at 6:30 to wrap up the afternoon of action in ACC football. Catch the Huddle on ACC Network and the ESPN app. The Huddle spent the day in Tallahassee the last couple of days. As Florida State took down Southern Miss, scored 66 points in the process. Maybe a changing of the guard in the ACC for football this season. So the polls came out. The AP poll had Florida State at number 3, their highest ranking since 2016. Here in Blacksburg, we've got Virginia Tech looking for the leveler. They have fought hard. They have played very well. But to be able to pull off resume wins against teams like Northwestern, who the ranking of 20 might not even be enough respect for how good Michael Moynihan's team is. And they'll have the chance to prove that in the Big Ten. This pass intercepted. Bodie in a pocket, all alone, and pushing it out to With. The goals that Northwestern scored reminded me really, Morgan, of the conversation we had with Chugger Adair earlier this week when he was saying there have been moments this year in which we have not closed games out well. We haven't responded well in moments. And maybe in this one, it's not closing a game out as much as it is right after you scored. Multiple times, you've kind of let your guard down, and Northwestern has capitalized on mistakes.
And that's the frustrating part of those goals.
Maybe again here. Bodie doing it all alone again. Bodie, save! Skinner not out of the woods. Wow, emergency defending from Virginia Tech. But we almost had a carbon copy. Transition, Maltese. Couldn't pick out that final pass. Intensity has picked up, pace has picked up in the last 30 seconds.
The save from Skinner is really what picked things up for the Hokies. Pelkowski looking to play two square. Bodie just steps in. That's an easy pickup. We've seen her pick off defenders a couple times and put it home. Well done from Skinner, coming out, closing that space. And then you see Haugen dropping back to get on the line for the second opportunity. Bodie wanted that ball again at her foot. She called for it, and it was Pelkowski going in for the tackle to clear that ball. That's what created the spark for Virginia Tech on the other end right here.
Stoppage of play and a foul. We might be going into the book again. Indeed we are. Was that de Guzman who got it? Or was that Maltese? He's walking off. It was de Guzman. Second yellow for Virginia Tech.
And taking another look at the foul. De Guzman goes up bit stepping. She's not too late to the tackle. I'd be curious to see that again because it looked like she was just a touch behind. But that last opportunity for Northwestern.
That was a nervous moment, wasn't it? For just a second, you thought maybe Northwestern returned the favor to Virginia Tech on a giveaway.
Here I am talking about Virginia Tech in the giveaway and pausing because we almost saw it on the other end. But that's what led to Northwestern's last opportunity. I said the Hokies have to take care of the ball. And it's a square pass deep in their defensive half that coughs it up to the worst person that ball should go to, which is Meg Bodie.
Oh, back heel, really good. Cleared out. Throw in for VT.
And this was the last one that the Hokies were almost able to capitalize on. Riley Fitzpatrick plays the ball square, gets it back to her foot. She's way out of her box. A nice job closing the space for Maltese.
All it takes is one. This is good from Virginia Tech. Bryan couldn't corral it with a soft touch. Now Bodie and Northwestern. They inch forward. And you're starting to see some tired legs, some tired minds as we finish the final 15 minutes.
This game is stretching out a bit for sure. The last opportunity for the Hokies was Kendall D'Amelio, who played a really nice through ball. And some hold-up play from the Hokies, but then when the ball was coughed up, not as much of a defensive response. And Northwestern, looking to build forward, didn't have as much pace with them either.
Bodie again, the focal point of this Wildcat midfield. And a foul. Crashing to the turf. Holland carry. Foul on Ellie Farrell.
And Aria, we talk about the impact that Bodie makes on this Northwestern team. In their buildup, she has the awareness to know that there's no need to go fast. They're up a goal, and she has only one person that she could have really combined with in that moment. So she was able to pause, pull the ball back, was able to connect in the middle with Holland Carey. And now they take their time and then can be more precise.
Having a go at it. Well wide of the mark. I respect the ambition from Regazzoni. She looks around her teammates and goes, my bad, I know. Sorry.
Honestly, why not? At that point, they had moved the ball all the way back to their goalkeeper, were so patient, recycled it all the way around to the other side. Regazzoni had so much time.
Bryan staying with it, trying to keep it alive. Farrell crashing in. We'll stay with Northwestern. Another foul.
This conversation that Visage is having with the referee, honestly, he might be helping her a bit because he's telling her just think about it. And what I'm saying as an analyst, there's no need to go in and try to win that tackle. Just think about where you are. He's telling her to be careful because she's probably on the verge of getting a card, but all she has to do there is hold Norket where she is. She doesn't have to go in and win. She's being pulled way high up, but she runs the risk when she doesn't win that ball. It's either a foul or she is so far out of position that if you're Visage, just keep Norket where she is. Make her play backwards. We know that Norket is very good back to goal, but she's not going to challenge you in that midfield. What she will do is if she turns you because you step too far, that's when she's in behind and that's when she can create. But if she's facing her own goal near her midfield, she's not dangerous.
Stephen Foster, our official, here this afternoon. 15th foul on Virginia Tech. 9 of them, though, on Northwestern. We got 24 total in the game. Second half only 8 on VT, 1 on Northwestern.
And that also speaks to Virginia Tech being stuck on the defensive side a little bit more. They haven't had the ball as much, so they've been a bit late into some tackles. We've also seen just the way that they're playing, really trying to get after this back line of Northwestern. They're a little bit tired, so I think that's why they're also late getting into tackles, being called for some fouls. They just have to be smart.
Space. Now for Norket. Trying to do it herself. Hokies got numbers back in waves. Foul called as we approach the final 10 minutes of the contest.
That's a good call in this foul, but you see Pelkowski trying to go in for the tackle. She misses, and then it's the shove from Norket trying to get around Allie George. George did a nice job just running on the inside, kind of right in Norket's pocket so she couldn't get inside. It's a good defending, especially as George is stuck tracking back.
Mention what Virginia Tech has coming in the ACC for Northwestern on the road at Purdue next Sunday. They get a week off. Then they play host to Michigan, just a couple of years removed from a Elite Eight, and at Indiana. Again, a Northwestern team that has high hopes, picked second in the Big Ten. All this conference realignment, it's going to be interesting to see soccer in the next 2 to 3 years. USC, UCLA are going to be in the mix in the Big Ten. Stanford to the ACC, I mean, that's pretty dynamite.
Ari, I mentioned taking care of the home games because going on the road and traveling, it's difficult to get wins in opponents' stadiums. Not even talking about all the extra travel that's going to be coming. So yeah, teams are going to have to take care of those home games because travel gets even harder.
Taylor Price back in for Maltese. And we're in for Brian. Something pretty unique, right, Morgan, about American soccer is the travel because of how big the country is. Whereas in Europe, you can get to so many different opponents really in the blink of an eye, so to speak, comparative to having to go 3 time zones when you do in the United States. That's just an extra wrinkle of playing the sport in this country.
It'll be interesting, though, what is the effect long-term for some of these teams, especially when they play in the postseason. So when you look at the ACC and the teams joining the extra travel, those are some of the teams that we also tend to see traveling far when it comes to NCAA time. So is that a benefit of it? It's going to be more difficult for sure. So right away, I wouldn't say it's a benefit, but long term, it'd be interesting to see how that plays out.
No doubt. The ACC just one of the best, in my opinion, humbly, best conference in the United States. And then you add Stanford. Okay, well, why not? Add another juggernaut powerhouse. And it'll be a lot of fun. And so we're getting closer. The conversation to ACC play starting up next week. We're wrapping up non-conference play with a bang here today, especially first of 3 games on ACCN. And later tonight, a 4th bonus game on ESPNU. Corner coming. Now it's go time, yeah.
And this is a key corner for the Hokies, sending numbers in.
And swinging lefty ball, glancing header. Not a bad idea. Just missing. The mark there was Anna Weir.
It's a really nice ball sent in from Veith with that left foot. She has pace here. Weir's the one who it touches, but there's no other attackers really in the area. And when Virginia Tech had that line change, they ended up taking out Visage as a center back. So they went with a 3-back to really push the game. I like that decision, pushing for a result. And also that's something they're going to have to do when it comes to conference play. So prepping for that as well for the Hokies. And it's interesting now with adding that extra player, how does Northwestern respond knowing that they're confident in their 3-back?
Under 5 to play. Bodie, 20th ranked Northwestern. High-flying attack. Top 15 in the country this season in goals. They've got 3 more to the tally and doing it without one of their best players. And Josie Alessino. They have shown their depth and all their options and weapons. But does Virginia Tech in the final 4 and change have what it takes to at least get a draw out of this and a result at home? Weir, edge of the 18, still Weir, turning, lefty pass, deflected, goal kick. Shot attempt by Bryant. She's got a pair of goals for the Hokies. Look at Maddie Finnerty.
Aria, Virginia Tech is more dangerous when they are dribbling centrally, when they have that ball in their foot and they're penetrating towards that back line in the center. When they drift out wide, like we just saw Weir do, she had the ball at her foot, was trying to get around the end line around Doucette. That's when things don't work out. They're off balance. The cross isn't as efficient. I really want to see them continue to find that ball in the middle and get at that back line, that back 3 of Northwestern, force a player to commit. They have numbers around the ball. They've had players checking too. Can they then look to combine in the middle versus just going wide and hoping that a cross works out?
They've got 3 minutes, 22 seconds for it to work out. You know, there's a bunch of Knowles and Gators already tuning in now, getting ready for their game coming up. I know Jen Hildreth and Lori Lindsay are ready to rock and roll. Rivalry soccer. This has been a good appetizer. An ACC Big Ten Challenge type of affair. Under 3. Undefeated Northwestern. Expected to challenge for the Big Ten crown. And a Virginia Tech team who has been stingy on defense. That's a really good ball. Slipping it through. Oh, it needed one final good touch to set up a shot. And Weir had to stretch back for it just a little bit.
This is exactly what they needed to do. It was a really special touch in the middle of the field. Natalie Mitchell continued her run central, going straight at that back line, looked to play Weir in. That's the second time Weir has been so close to getting that touch right around the goalkeeper in Fitzpatrick. It's direct, but it also was intentional. And if Virginia Tech can continue that 2.5 minutes, if they can collect the ball once more and look there, that's when they've had their best opportunities.
3 goals today for Northwestern. Their 7th time with at least 3 goals in 8 games on the year. I mean, it is truly ridiculous. They are punishing nets.
And don't forget, the big question with Northwestern was, what do they do without Alessino?
Oh, crunching tackle. Looks like we're going into the book. Stephen Foster reached into the pocket. He's got the yellow. Can't feel good in the wet conditions, in the rain, and it's cooling off rapidly in Blacksburg.
And Haas goes down low against Allie George. It's the left leg that just completely gets demolished a bit in that tackle. No ball whatsoever.
Third booking of the game. 2 for VT, 1 for Northwestern now. George trying to shake it off and remain if she can in the game.
Well, it's good to see her up and standing too, because that was a bit of a line drive just to her calf. That left leg.
Taylor Bryan injecting hopefully some energy for the Hokies. In the final 130 seconds or so.
And that's not a sub they would want to make with George being out, but they're adding in Bryan as a forward, just adding numbers to the attack, taking off a defender.
Final 2 minutes. Morgan, you play pretty direct here. Does everything have to be sent into the box?
Absolutely. It's had to be direct. And now maybe it gets a bit messier because you're just lofting balls in, but especially by bringing in Bryan, there's basically 2 defenders for Virginia Tech, and they're fine with that because they're chasing this game and just trying to send something in.
Foul called. And Northwestern's going to be in no hurry.
I would be frustrated if I were Bryan right there too. I think that's a bit of a soft call. The nudge didn't get her much of an advantage whatsoever. It's been a hard battle between both sides.
.80 seconds of soccer left in Blacksburg. Dispossess. Oh, now a giveaway right back. Skyers. Deflected out for the throw. Wildcats undefeated on the year. Hokies looking for a resume-building result before conference play. Got the Noles and the Gators on standby, ready to rock and roll. Morgan, final thoughts on this one if the Hokies can't find the equalizer?
Northwestern is a team to be weary of, not just if you're in the Big Ten, but if you are a team in the NCAA. They are a strong attacking offense. Then they're going to get Alessino back. They are fun to watch. It's a sophisticated style. Northwestern's really dangerous. And if I'm Virginia Tech, I'm taking away the positives. So de Guzman was fantastic for them out wide. She's ready for conference play. Taylor Price is healthy. That's a good sign for them. If I'm the Hokies, there's a lot I'm taking away. They still need that consistency for a full 90. But they learned a lot from this game that can help them when it comes to conference play.
So VT plays at Carolina next week. Norkett, one final yellow card, the 4th of the game. 3 goals for Northwestern. They continue their prolific attack. Top 15 in the country in goals scored. Just need 6 more seconds. It'll be Skinner. One final desperation ball into the box, hoping for the miracle. I want to thank Cam Norris and the entire Virginia Tech production team and control room and the cameras for a great broadcast. Last ball into the box, headed away, and that's it. Northwestern on the road remains undefeated. The 20th ranked Cats defeat Virginia Tech 3-2. For Morgan Bowen, I'm Aria Masudi. Let's get you now to Tallahassee for Florida State and Florida. You got the Noles and the Gators, a rivalry, and we're going to toss to Jen Hildreth and Lori Lindsay. So long from Blacksburg.